Alright, here's part 2, mobility training exercises. So we're using a lunge position with a weighted bar and rotating side to side. And it's good to hold for a few seconds so you can feel those back muscles, mid-back muscles working. And here we're just working on a mobility reflex pattern. It's kind of an extra one I just threw in here. Again, it's working with that pitching, that throwing motion, and the follow. And here again, we're working with the dowel. I'm just rotating side to side. Again, you want to feel the obliques, the mid-back muscles, the scapular muscles, the lat muscles, all working at the same time. So again, with mobility, you're trying to integrate the power, you're trying to integrate everything into the motion, into that mobility. And this is a marching exercise. So I'm doing it one way, and then you'll see that I'm going to reverse the pattern now, whereas I'm using the throwing pattern where I lift the knee and the arm goes back. So I did both patterns, forward and a throwing pattern. And same idea here, we're doing this kind of single leg snatch where we're driving that knee up. It's another mobility kind of reflexive pattern. And we're using a chop motion from the lunge position. You can use a cable chop machine or whatever you want. I like to use the dumbbell because I have to go back and I have to decelerate. So I have to decelerate that motion like if I was throwing a ball with the dumbbell. And so being in that lunge motion and then like throwing it forward. I'm using a resistance band here. Again, I'm using all of my muscles. I'm not just using my shoulder joint to do the movement. You can see I'm using my hips, I'm stepping, I'm lifting my knee. In this motion, I'm just doing this kind of swimming pattern, how you would throw the ball using your shoulder. You can see I'm incorporating the knee there. So it's a nice, this is a nice exercise to really get everything working at the same time, to get your again, to get control of your mobility. I throw a few sidearm things, few sidearm exercises in there with the hips and everything working. I like to use a lot of resistance bands and dumbbells. I like adding weight to my mobility training. So with the resistance band here, we're working high on the hip for the glute. And then when I move the resistance band to my knee here, it's really working with my ankle. So it's making my ankle stronger too because of the tension there. And then I put it down on my ankle. That adds a little bit more resistance to the ankle mobility as well. Here is the Cossack, or just a side lunge stretch. So with the resistance band, it's making that glute medius on the side work. And as that glute medius works, it's going to make that adductor work and give better flexibility and stronger flexibility. I have the resistance band hooked up behind me, so you can see it's this kind of like crawl or Cossack side to side. So you can see how this can help you in the infield or in the outfield, being down in that crouched position, being able to get your hips to move side to side in the lateral position. You can see I'm rotating my toes up to really rotate the hip joint in this position. So I'm going to reverse the resistance band here, and we're just going to do it from behind. Again, the resistance is now pulling me forward, where the resistance was pulling me back. So we're just going to work a different set of muscles and train the mobility in this way. Now I have a set of dumbbells from the bent over position, and so we're just doing some rotational aspects here. Again, you want to make your hamstrings work with the rotation of the obliques and the lat muscles. So here I'm just doing a rotational stand-up position, and then I'll be into the bent over position, And then we're just going to work with the obliques and the lat muscles and the mid-back muscles here. So you don't have to do the stand-up pattern. The stand-up pattern is nice because it's forcing you to go into those throwing positions, but it's also working your mobility in those positions as well. And then afterwards, take do arm circles here, because when you add resistance to your stretching and mobility, you'll notice that it improves. From the lunge position, you're going to use a resistance band, and it's kind of like an archer position. And so do a few archers here, where you're working with the oblique and the lat muscle and the back of the shoulder muscle there. And it's just kind of like a throwing pattern that you're repeating there. And then after that, extend, rotate forward, and then rotate to the side. As you can see, I'm rotating forward and rotating side, and I'm really extending that resistance band. Again, from another position, we're going to work with the shoulder rotation, the core oblique, but we're going to work with that knee up in a high position. And you want to lean forward and really work with that shoulder there. You'll feel a lot of your core working. And with the resistance band, we're going to just stretch it out a few times, work with the mid-back muscles there, and here we're going into these kind of diagonal positions, challenging the core, and then, challenging the stance on one leg as if you were throwing the ball into a throwing position. And it's another mobility type of reflexive work. Stretch your resistance band, put it behind, and rotate. So what you're going to feel is, again, squeeze your glutes as you're rotating, and you'll feel your obliques and you'll feel your lat muscles here. You can see I'm just going up on one foot, rotating side to side, working with the hip joint and the obliques, lats, and shoulder muscles all at the same time. This is a nice one. So here we're doing this kind of rotation, internal, external rotation, and I'm just moving it into different positions to develop the proprioception in the muscles. Okay, so we'll move it front, and then we're going to move to the side and to the back, and then maybe do a few presses here and a few extensions with it. You're really going to feel this exercise. You're really going to feel the internal, external muscles working here. This is better than working on the cable machine with doing your rotational exercises.